I'm writer, director, producer, and editor of Burden, which is a sci-fi, fantasy, alien invasion superhero film. It's about having hope when there's no hope.
But the humans will never survive.
One planet's death cannot overshadow the survival of a galaxy. They are coming. Earth will fall. What has been done cannot be undone.
Ultimately, our character Calic has to understand to accept the lives that have been lost and learn to cherish ones that he can save. Well, it's about a lone hero that is being ordered to evacuate our planet on the eve of an alien invasion. And he must decide whether or not he's going to stay here and protect Earth or leave as he's instructed. I think what it is, it's a look at the classic superhero archetype and then bringing him into the modern age and seeing how does that hero still fit in today's society. And that can play into a lot of different themes of how when you love something of old, but it's trying to find it where it fits. So when anyone is trying to find where they fit, whether it's in school or in sports, it's where do you fit in? And I think that's universal. What inspired me to make Burden, I grew up watching Superman and Star Wars and going to places and challenging your imagination and some of that escapism from the 80s and movies like Blade Runner. I loved those scores that they made back in the day as well. There's something about that era at that time with the painted posters that I just fell in love with. And I being someone I grew up wearing a Superman costume. So I wanted to do a superhero movie. I really wanted to do, and not only that, while I was in film school when I started this film, and nobody was doing science fiction, let alone a superhero science fiction. So I wanted to do something with everyone else was making art films. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna make a big, giant superhero action film. And I love superheroes. Like I said, I love Superman. So it came from a childhood love of wanting to make something I wanted to see. Not trying to make something my professors wanted to see, not trying to make something that all my students and peers wanted to see. I wanted to make a movie that I really wanted to see and that sci-fi lovers like myself would love to see. Let's hit the target audience of science fiction fans. I was actually sitting in class and the teacher said, what ideas you guys gonna make? And I said I wanted to do an alien invasion superhero action film. And I got laughed at. Matter of fact, I told a joke and then the entire class laughed at me. So I immediately went to the Chicago film office and was like, how do I shut down a city block? They made it sound real easy. It was a lot harder. But that gave me the inspiration to just start doing it. And I just started making the contacts and calling the fire marshals and everything I had to do to make that happen. I just went ahead and just said, I'm not going to listen to everybody else, and I'm going to do it. I made a comic book of the film as well. So I went around handing out the comic book to get people to believe in my idea and the story I was trying to tell. Once we finished production, I had 80 visual effects shots still to do. And that took 3 years. Took 3 years. I went broke making the movie in production, had to wait for deposits to develop the film, had to wait for more deposits once the film was developed to telecine it. So I shot the film, waited a couple months, finally got all that done, edited the film, created an FTP site. And this FTP site allowed me to get people from all over the United States. So I had people from Colorado, Michigan, Chicago, Florida, San Fran, LA, all over doing visual effects for my movie. So after this long 3 years, we finally finished strong with Peter, Colin, and a full orchestra. So I'm really happy. And not only that, but then we got our nice poster, and our poster, it's all painted. Our score has this like 70s feel, like the Superman, the Jaws era, the Blade Runner era. So I wanted the poster to have that same feeling too, that same escapism, you know, sci-fi. We're gonna take you to another world, and sit back and clock in for the next 10 minutes. It's gonna be a thrill ride.